Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz January 9, 2017, 1:08 a.m. in Birmingham. And the topic is, do God's angels look like men? And I'll start off and say this up front: no, they do not. Now, some may do, but keep in mind, he made billions of angels. Each one was more than likely different from the other. They can take the form of anything. And but as far as looking like men, because if you remember when God called them back home and he was making man, they all oohed and awed and said, God, he looks like you. Should we worship him? God said, no, you will serve him. So if the angels saw God make a man in God's image, God said, let us make man in our image. Our image is God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. Let us make men in our image. And when the angels saw, men did not look like the angels. So that's proof angels do not look like men. And as far as to us, seeing angels, if they didn't come in a way, a light, or change their image, we would more than likely hide. I mean, just really freak out. They could be hideous looking creatures to us. The four angels, the guardian angels of God, the four angels, the cherubs that flies around and God rides on the backs of them in every place around the earth. At 3 a.m., God is passing by. Good time. If you ever wake up at 3 a.m., the first thing you can do is say a short prayer because God is close. He's right overhead. And I just learned this about 2 years ago. But his angels that fly him around are creatures that if you would run into and not know in advance what they were or who they were, protectors, you may die of fright right there. I mean, really, you may just drop dead because the angels were different. But the most beautiful of all, of course, his name was Satan. And he was a diamond-studded, emerald-studded, giant angel. I mean, when I say giant, I'm assuming he's a 12-foot angel, the most beautiful and of all. And yet, he saw man and got jealous. But I don't think that was the fall of the angels. I really don't. I think the fall of the angels were long before that, long before Adam. And the reason is, as soon as Adam was put in the Garden of Eden, as soon as Eve came in, then he came down and deceived them. So it was a thought he had in his head for a long, long time. So probably before God finished his creation, Satan just wanted to be able to do that and be like God. But angels can't create. They can procreate, but it's a no-no. And that's how they are fallen angels. The 200 that came down, only 200 of them procreated. But what they got were just beasts, just ugly demons, giants, as if you recall, 275 feet tall, some of them were. And they're huge. So, and their offspring that died, they are the disembodied spirits of the offspring of the watcher angels. Also, watcher angels are also Nephilim. And then God sent down a second 200 watcher angels, and there was a second incursion. But it's not known if they had a part in, again, trading secrets with men for their daughters. I don't recall the Bible mentioning that. If it was mentioned, it would have been in Enoch. And I don't recall Enoch saying that, but they did fall. They did come down. So that's 400 angels that misbehaved. And of the numbers of them that fell are far greater than that, in the millions and the millions. And like I said, all these stars you see in the skies, not all of them are stars, a lot of them. And if you get a Hubble and zoom in, you see billions and billions and billions of planets. A lot of these are specks of light. A lot of these are angels. And the ones that are close enough for man to see at night are navigational angels. They tell you the time of day. They tell you which way to go if you want to trek across the country. They tell you the seasons. They do everything because God ordered it, and he told them each to take their place, and they had to move with the time. And the time was for our sake only, not for theirs. And one of them moved out of its place, and one of them was judged before doing that. And but the angels that I was talking about, the evil that we would see in the end days that would come upon the earth, you recall 3 of these were released from River Euphrates. And then also the Bible said stars would fall from the skies. So that is angels that are falling. They're being cast down to earth. So you have 3 in River Euphrates, and I don't know if there's millions and millions or hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But I'm assuming millions. And I believe that a lot will be, they're bound now, but they're kind of roaming bound. They're not accessible to us. Not yet, but they will be. And all these flying saucers up there, they're good angels and they're bad angels. Not all of them are going to hurt you. In fact, half of them at least are there to protect you. Believe it or not, they are. They're there to serve you, and they're there for a purpose. So I would think that unless God just, because with one thought, God can call the name of every angel that had fallen, call every name within a millisecond, and destroy them all and end it, and cast them into hell. But he's not going to do that. He's going to let them play out through man and see if man, let them make up their mind who they want to serve. And a lot of them, a majority is going to serve Satan, a fallen angel. And keep in mind, an angel, one single angel can destroy a legion of human, and legion is mentioned times, but the average number is 75,000. That is a legion, 75,000. So assume that one angel can destroy 75,000 men. Well, you wouldn't need, you still need 1 million or 2 to destroy all people. But half of the population, 3.5 billion. But I'm just wondering if that's how most of them will die. Personally, I believe it will be by the natural disasters that are no longer natural, that are from that point on, they're judgments, and they'll keep coming. God's judgments are poured out and poured out and poured out. The judgments that Christ released for the first 3.5 years are lighter and softer judgments designed to bring man back to him. And then the last 3.5 years, those judgments are God's judgments, and they're horribly harsh, very destructive. Millions upon millions will die because of this. And let me say another thing. All you bug out people, I've said this before, you can bug out to escape a EMP. You can bug out to escape a natural disaster or a judgment upon our land. You can bug out because we have been attacked by other countries. But when we reach the 7-year tribulation, forget the bugging out. You can't do it. There's no way you can escape it if you're left behind. If you're left behind, there's nothing that can hide you. If you recall, even the rich men went into the mountains and begged the mountains to fall upon them and hide them from the Son of Man. And they even threw all their gold and silver in the streets. That is thinking that if they do that, they'll bring the distraction off of them onto that. Not true. The mountains will fall off of them and expose them. So the final 7 years, in this final act, everyone alive that aren't saved are in trouble. But many of them will be saved. Many of them will live. Many will move right on into the 1,000-year millennium. They alone will be the ones to procreate and replenish the earth during the next 1,000 years, the final 1,000, which will complete the 7,000 years. But those of us who were taken up just prior to the rapture of the church, we're in our new bodies. We do not procreate. Just those who went through the rapture, that were saved in the rapture and were lucky enough to come out alive, will be the ones to procreate. But until then, there's going to be hundreds of millions that's going to die of fright and of fear of the things that's coming upon this earth. And I cannot imagine being so terrified that I'd die because of it. Not the act of being hurt, just the act of being afraid. Jody Wolf, Expoz.